She wasn't invisible. She was erased. No one at Thompson's Grill knew her real name. To them, she was just the dish girl, like some disposable background fixture that existed solely to make their greasy brilliance shine brighter. She moved in silence, arriving before sunrise, scrubbing pans still hot with yesterday's egos, and mopping floors no one looked at, only slipped on. She was 42, black, wiry, and made of quiet iron. Her name was Lorraine Brooks. Not that it mattered to anyone here. "Move, dish lady. You're in my space," barked one of the line cooks, flinging a half-cleaned skillet onto the prep counter like it was a frisbee. Grease splattered. No apology. Lorraine flinched inward, not from fear, but from muscle memory. The drill was familiar. Keep your head down. Don't talk back. Wipe. Rinse. Repeat. She reached for the skillet. Her hands moved automatically. Cold water, degreaser, steel wool. She scrubbed with the precision of a surgeon, the care of someone who actually gave a damn. Unlike the over-caffeinated white boys around her who burned risotto and called it fusion. From the office, a voice boomed, "You're not a chef, sweetheart. Don't start having ideas." Tommy Thompson, owner, white, loud, proud of his second-hand culinary school diploma and his first-hand misogyny. He had a laugh like rusted brakes and a gut that hung over his belt like it was trying to escape him. He called Lorraine honey like it was a kindness. She didn't flinch. She didn't respond. She just kept scrubbing, shoulders tight. But what they didn't know, what none of them bothered to ask, was what happened when she went home. In her small two-bedroom in Harlem, tucked in a drawer beneath potholders and coupons, were the handwritten recipes of her grandmother, Mabel Mama May Baptiste, who once fed half of New Orleans from a corner shack during Mardi Gras. Lorraine didn't forget. She had dreams, recipes, stories even. But dreams have rent, and hers had been deferred. So she stayed, and scrubbed, until the day the stove exploded. It happened on a Wednesday, the hottest day of the month. The air in the kitchen was so thick with steam and shouting, you could almost chew it. One line cook called out sick. Another walked out after an argument over undercooked scallops. The third, Carlos, passed out from heat exhaustion next to the deep fryer. Panic erupted. Tickets poured in. A New York Times critic had been spotted in the dining room. Orders were backing up. The staff moved like ants on fire. "God damn it!" Thompson's voice roared like a train. "Get someone on the line. I don't care who." He turned. His eyes landed on her. "You! Dish girl!" He hurled a filthy apron at her chest. "You want to cook so bad? Let's see it. You've got 5 minutes, or I'm calling in takeout." Lorraine stood still. The apron slid down her arm and hit the floor. Silence fell around her like a dropped plate. She didn't pick it up. Instead, she walked to the stove, not rushed, not timid, but like someone coming home. She tied her own apron, pulled her hair back into a bun with the grace of ritual, and took a breath. Then, she reached for ingredients. Chicken thighs, fresh garlic, lemon, cayenne, thyme, a whisper of molasses. She wasn't cooking, she was confessing. Every stir, every pinch, every simmer was a release of something buried. Grief, anger, pride. The pan hissed like it recognized her. The kitchen watched in stunned silence. Even Tommy stopped shouting. 2 minutes to table 5, someone screamed. Lorraine plated it herself. No garnish, no Instagram drizzle. Just food, rich, golden, breathing warmth. A runner took it out. Lorraine didn't follow. She stayed where she was, wiping her hands, eyes steady, and waited. Out in the dining room, Gary Flint, the critic everyone feared, took one bite and stopped. A hush rolled across the restaurant like a fog, fork poised midair. eyes closed. Flint tasted again, and again. Then he leaned back, hands on his chest, like he'd just been baptized. "This," he whispered, "isn't food. This is poetry written in garlic and grace." Tommy's face contorted into a grotesque smile. "Our, executive chef's creation. Experimental fusion." Flint cut him off, rising from the table like a man on a mission. "Who cooked this?" he asked. Tommy stammered. "It was, one of the, kitchen team. A collaboration." "No," Flint said. "I want a name." Silence. And then, "Lorraine Brooks," came a quiet voice from a server. Flint walked into the kitchen. Everyone parted like the Red Sea. He stopped in front of her. Lorraine stood calm, towel in hand, apron smeared in flavor and fire. He extended a card. "I don't offer this lightly," he said, "but if you want out of here, if you want to cook somewhere that matters, come find me. There's a new kitchen opening in Soho. It needs a heart. I think it's you." No one moved, not even Tommy. Especially not Tommy. He stood there, jaw slack, pride leaking out of him like steam from a broken kettle. Lorraine looked at the card. Then, quietly, she nodded. That night, she didn't mop the floor. She didn't clean the knives. She walked out the back door, head held high, hands still smelling of lemon and redemption. In her bag, next to her lunch container, was a signed copy of her resignation, and a dream no longer deferred. Thompson's Grill was quiet the next morning. Too quiet. Usually, by 9 a.m., the kitchen was a war zone of clanging pans and shouting sous chefs. But today, the staff moved like ghosts, nervous, stiff, whispering behind half-closed doors. And Tommy Thompson? He was in his office, pacing like a caged animal. On the metal prep table sat a copy of the morning's Fine Bites, the most feared and followed culinary blog in the state. And on the front page, in bold serif print, "From Dishwater to Destiny, meet Lorraine Brooks, New York's hidden culinary genius." By Gary Flint. Tommy had read the headline 5 times. Each word felt like a slap. He crumpled the paper, then smoothed it out again. He couldn't stop staring at the photo. Lorraine, standing in the middle of the kitchen, arms crossed, a faint smile, apron stained with saffron and soul. His kitchen, his stove, his name. Nowhere. He slammed his fist down on the desk. "She's just a damn dish girl," he barked to no one. But deep down, he knew. He had been blind, arrogant, and loud. And Lorraine had been watching, waiting, learning under his nose. In the break room, the staff huddled in small groups, phones out, article open, whispered disbelief. "She never said anything," murmured Carlos, the cook who fainted 2 nights ago. "She didn't have to," said the pastry girl. "She just did it." Even the hostess, who once rolled her eyes when Lorraine asked for extra lemon for her tea, now sat in stunned silence. "She's a genius, and we didn't see it. God, we mocked her." One of the waitresses held up the article. "Raised in Harlem, descendant of Louisiana Creole chefs, studied under her grandmother since she was 10, cooked gumbo blindfolded by 12. What the hell were we doing at 12? From the corner of the room, a voice spoke, quiet, measured. She had something we didn't. All heads turned. It was Amber, the night shift waitress. She looked down at her apron, then back up. She had purpose. While we were chasing tips, she was carrying legacy. A silence followed. Tommy stormed out of his office. He climbed up on a crate used for potatoes, trying to command height he didn't have. Red in the face, shirt half untucked, voice trembling, not with authority, but with loss. "Listen up," he shouted. The staff slowly turned. This whole article, this thing, it's a mistake. She didn't have authorization to use the kitchen. She violated health code, took ingredients without permission. A weak protest from someone. She saved the dinner rush. She risked the business. She saved the business. Tommy's eyes narrowed at the interruption. His voice wavered. I'm still the owner here, and nobody walks out of my kitchen and gets to rewrite the rules. He paused for dramatic effect, but the room didn't tremble. Instead, they stared, not at him, but at the woman who just walked in. Lorraine Brooks entered the kitchen like she owned oxygen. She didn't wear the gray busser's apron. She didn't carry a mop. She wore a white chef's coat, crisp and gleaming, embroidered with her name in dark thread. Executive Chef, Lorraine Brooks. Beneath it, a note, Flint and Fire, Soho. The silence cracked open. Tommy gawked. You have no right to be in a place I used to mop with tears, she cut in. Her voice was calm, even, lethal. She stepped toward the center of the room, holding a folder. Inside is my contract, a real one, with a kitchen that values me. She placed it on the counter. Also inside, a signed resignation letter. Yours. Tommy blinked. What? She tapped the folder. Yesterday, you were drunk. You toasted me, told me I deserved to be in the big leagues, and scrawled your signature like a frat boy. I took a photo, legal enough. He sputtered. I can contest that. Go ahead, she smiled. I have witnesses. Flint himself watched you stumble out, singing Sinatra. Laughter rippled. She turned to the staff. I'm not here to stay, she said, but I came back to say this. You don't have to serve someone who serves no one but himself. One by one, heads nodded. The youngest line cook removed his apron. Then the hostess. Then the night shift barback. Then Amber, one by one, like dominoes falling. Where will you go? Someone asked. She shrugged. Where the fire is real. Where talent isn't mocked. Where food is soul, not ego. She turned toward the door. The next chapter starts now. As she stepped out into the sun, the Fine Bites notification pinged again. Another headline. Lorraine Brooks, hired as executive chef of Flint and Fire. Critics say, move over, Michelin. Tommy stood frozen in the now empty kitchen. No staff, no sound, no power. Only the faint smell of burnt oil and the echo of a woman he never saw coming. Tommy Thompson had never been this sober. He stood alone in the middle of his own restaurant, sweat drying under his collar, the echo of slammed doors still bouncing off the kitchen tiles. No shouting line cooks, no sizzling pans, just the ticking of the clock above the grill and the soft, mocking whisper of silence. The dishwasher had walked out with his entire team. Worse, she had walked out as someone else. A name, a legacy, a woman now etched into the city's food scene with garlic, fire, and unshakable poise. He paced the dining room like a cornered animal. It was 4:20 p.m. The Friday dinner crowd would start coming in within the hour, and he had no staff, no prep, no plan. Panic surged in his chest. He stormed into the office, grabbed the landline, and started dialing. Carlos, please. You don't want to burn bridges. Click. Amber, I'll double your shifts. You can even run brunch. Click. Even the teenage busboy refused. I'm with Chef Brooks now, he said, and hung up. By 5:10, the tables were half full. People had read the article. Some came just to see the famous kitchen that birthed Lorraine's breakthrough. The servers were late. The cooks, no shows. And then the doors swung open. But it wasn't staff. It was Lorraine, in her whites. not alone. Behind her, Gary Flint, sharp suit, subtle grin. And behind him, a camera crew from a food documentary series. Tommy nearly choked. "You came back?" he spat, eyes wide. Lorraine looked around the half-empty restaurant. "Not for you." She turned to the camera crew. "This is where it happened, where the kitchen boiled over, where the heat finally rose above the noise." Flint stepped in beside her. "We're shooting a segment, Chefs of the City. You're welcome to smile for the camera, if you can stomach it." Tommy was fuming. "You're trespassing." "No," Lorraine said. "I'm the one who let you stay." She pulled out a manila envelope from her tote and handed it to Flint. Gary raised an eyebrow. "What's this?" "My original employment contract," she said. "You know, the one he made me sign under the table so he could avoid giving me health insurance or an actual job title." Gary's smile vanished. "That'll play well." Tommy reached for the envelope. Lorraine stepped back. "Touch it, and I file for exploitation, misclassification, and workplace harassment. I have 5 years' worth of texts, kitchen witnesses, and the resignation you signed on video." The camera zoomed in on his face. "You think you're some kind of hero?" he hissed. "No," she replied calmly. "I'm free. That's enough." She walked through the kitchen one last time, touched the worn-down steel counters, ran her hand over the cracked tile beneath the sink where she used to kneel to scrub, paused, and whispered, "I'm not cleaning up after anybody anymore." When she walked out the back door, the full staff of Flint and Fire waited outside in brand-new uniforms. They cheered as she approached, in her hand, the keys to her own kitchen. Back inside Thompson's Grill, a couple at table 6 waited 15 minutes before standing up and leaving. And by 6:15, half the dining room was empty. By 7 o'clock, it was full again, of reporters. By 7:15, Thompson's phone rang. It was his landlord. "You've been late on rent 3 months, Tom. Maybe it's time." The next morning, a new headline appeared on every screen in the industry. Chef Lorraine Brooks fires back at system that tried to silence her and serves up justice on a silver plate. In the final scene, Lorraine stands at the pass window of Flint and Fire, watching her new brigade plate gumbo with reverence. The dining room hums with laughter, the clinking of glasses, the rhythm of recognition. She wipes her hands, smiles, and says to no one in particular, "Now we cook."